Hello, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. We are Chaosium's official live play channel, and we're here every week playing Call of Cthulhu. So this is the second session of our Crimson Letters playthrough. It's the second scenario in our Keeper Rulebook playthrough. So you can get your own copy of the Keeper's Rulebook from chaosium.com, and you can get the same virtual tabletop version which we're using from roll20.com. The ambience and music you're hearing is provided by Sirenscape, and the captions below each player are handled by Web Captioner. We've got links to all of these underneath us in both Twitch and YouTube, however you're watching it. So let's go ahead and jump into tonight's game. So where we left off, the three of you are looking into a recent death and some missing documents. Professor Charles Leiter, who you knew from a expedition to Bennington, Vermont, doesn't sound like an expedition, but it was more eventful than the name leads you to believe, died about a week ago. And Dean Bryce Fallon approached the three of you to say, hey, would you mind looking into this? And now that Stephen Chase has gotten a look at the body, you can begin to see why he might think there's something strange is afoot. So you've seen the corpse, his eyes are sort of melted and there's something strange about it. You've confirmed that something is missing, and you've begun to chase down a couple of contacts. You've also run into a pair of goons who are trying to shake down a now dead man for $11,000. And as we introduce the three investigators, I want you to describe yourselves as you're standing outside of this morgue after the first day of investigation, how you're feeling, and also, you know, just what you look like. Art, why don't you kick us off?
Hi, I'm Art. I am playing Vivian Langley, actor extraordinaire and man who has possibly at this point seen a little too much. Vivian is dressed very well, if in clothing that has seen better days. He's, as per usual, lounging, you know, in this case, probably like leaning on something, waiting for his cousin, Stevie, to come out of the morgue and tell all of us why he was in the back of the car with some interesting gentlemen. Yeah, it's Vivian. He's just lounged about.
Are you carrying your cane with you at the moment?
Oh yes, always having a silver-topped black cane to hand. Just, you know, something to help the whole. If you have to stand and there's no wall nearby, you can absolutely lean on a cane instead. It looks very, very dashing. So,
speaking of Stephen Chase, now exiting the university hospital is a slight professor following in the heels of two much larger gentlemen. Jackson.
That's true. I'm Jackson, and I'm playing Professor Stephen Chase. It's your boy. Like, follow, subscribe. I don't know where that came from. References aren't comedy. Stephen Chase is a very slight. He's the youngest tenured professor at the university, at the Miskatonic University, and yeah, he's been asked to look into the death of Leiter. He's a bit shaken up. He's a little bit paler than usual, owing to the fact he was just kidnapped by two solidly built gangsters. But his mind is kind of racing. His brow is heavily furrowed as he kind of reels through what he's seen in the morgue and what he's learnt today about his dear departed friend.
Does Professor Chase have like a nervous tick or habit that he develops once he's seen something strange, or does he kind of disguise it?
That's a good question. I think he probably cleans his glasses a lot, even though they're perfectly clean and clear.
So you sort of give them a rub down, and when you put them back on, you can see over on the bench across from you a larger boy, Jim.
Of course, yes, I am Jim. I am playing Thomas Ouellette, student athlete. Thomas took a lot of sanity damage last adventure and sort of spent a little time, a little more morose, let his grades slip a bit, packed on a few pounds around his midriff because he wasn't quite keeping up with the swim team. But this renewed burst of vigor and investigation has filled him with a frenetic energy, and he seems alive in a way he hasn't been for a long time, pacing back and forth in front of the bench. He looks happy, even though his clothes are still a little grubby and less put together.
You also just sprinted your way across the entire university campus in pursuit of a car and put in a pretty good effort, although you weren't able to quite catch it.
Still a best time.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right. So we know what you've all experienced. You've been told to look into the body, but then you kind of split up after some short investigations where Tom went to go see Amelia. Viv and Stephen, I think, went to the house not too long after. So why don't you each recap? I mean, as Stephen comes out, what are you saying? What are the plans from here and as night sets and the darkness rises?
All right, well, I guess that was pretty interesting. You getting kidnapped and all. You want to talk us through that, Professor? I can't hear the professor, although his lips move. Truly, we live in strange times.
Well, kidnapped is such a strong word. These gentlemen just wanted a quick talk. That's all. And they wanted to talk in a specific place in a specific time, and it was a matter of urgency. So kidnapped, it's we got it done. They were associates of Professor Leiter. It seems he owed a fair bit of money around town, and to them specifically. So they just wanted to see with their own eyes that he'd passed on, which is, I think, understandable. I think it's an entirely reasonable request. So that's what we did.
Well, how much money we talking here?
Oh, well, something in the region of $10,000 to these folks. But to be honest, makes me think it's possible he had some other acquaintances that he could have gotten himself into a similar predicament with. So,
Well,
Good
He
God.
was having an affair.
He was having an affair?
Yeah.
Oh, well, tell us more.
Oh, Flinders. That one.
Yeah.
He's absolutely Michiganer. Gone off the deep end. Nothing really, poor boy. But he has spent a fair amount of time stalking both Dr. Leiter and Amelia, because he seems to think that they're witches or something to that equivalent. But he did kindly inform me of the fact that Leiter had been seeing one of the young ladies down at the restaurant, and I will pull out a piece of paper. I have her address.
Oh, fantastic. That's real good. Well, gosh, I hope that these two thugs that took care of you, Professor, I hope they don't know about that address too. If they do, then they might be going down to pay her a visit. We might want to get there beforehand.
Yeah, I certainly hope not. So if he had an affair, he had a wife as well, I assume.
On
do we know
that,
anything
just
about her?
quickly, Professor Chase, you've never known him to have a wife. He's never talked about it. If anything, he would probably brag about, like, just going out to, like, parties and things on the weekends. You don't believe him to be married.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Very good.
man with his kind of attitudes, he possibly was having an affair all the same. But
That's what you like to call it, anyway.
I guess, look, the only other thing we have to add to this, did you manage to get Flinders to back off a little bit?
Oh yes, he and I'll like hold up the bracelet he gave me. I'm like, he thinks we're good friends.
You got a way with words.
I have a way with people.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, the last thing to add is that Professor Roach, who took over the investigation of the Hobbs house, he's a little suspicious, but look, I don't think that there's too much there. I had a rather difficult conversation with him and the dean. Probably could have handled that better, but what's in the past is in the past. Anyway, he
Define
seems
difficult, chicken.
well. I kind of burst through a door, got all caught up in the heat of the moment. But look, the point is that Roach is clinging to those ships like a dead man clinging to a raft. Maybe he needs him for something, but I don't think he's sinister, just greedy,
Well, do you think he could be also tied up with the gambling debt?
Maybe. I don't know. It's a lot of money. Look, at the end of the day, I think the solid leads we got to work on are whatever's going on with with this girlfriend of Lighter's, and also, you know, if I hate to be giving any credence to Flinders, but if he thinks that people are witches, you know.
Well, he thinks they're satanic worshipping something or others, and also that my head today, I swear. They found something. Or he thinks they found something, given that I don't know how much we can put into what this Filiomian is saying, but yes, they found something.
You reckon that whatever they found could be the thing that's missing from the effects of the
I would probably put money on it, yes, if I had any money to put on anything, which I don't.
Don't end up in the same position as Lighter. Look,
Wait, I'm confused. Who found something?
Flinders.
Liza and Amelia. They found a journal.
Okay, well, maybe we know a little bit better what we're looking for now. We're looking for this journal.
Right.
If it was last with Lyda and Amelia. Amelia says she hasn't seen anything.
Given the office and the fact that Amelia's desk was relatively clean but seemed to have most of her effects there, Lighter's, on the other hand, was empty. And it sounds like he took a lot of his work home, so I'm starting to suspect, although far be it from me to suspect anything, that maybe that's where we should go next.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to do, and then these gentlemen suggested a different course of action, so that's not such a bad idea.
Are they likely to be there if we go?
It's in the realm of possibility. They're quite keen to get their money back. But maybe we should go now, just in case they do go, and we can see whether they're going to beat us there, or they're going to see the house before we do.
Well, it's getting late, so we probably want to hurry. But I'm just saying, if we want to go and see this girlfriend of Lida's, we probably want to go tonight. We wouldn't want to give those two thugs time to, if she knows anything.
I wonder if they'd go to the house or go to her first.
I mean, it depends on whether or not they know about the Cologne or not.
They're here now. If they're going to go to the house, they're going to go now. So
you see them as they pull out. They aren't heading back towards the cottage. Looks like they're pulling out.
Good.
Probably they gave you an address of a hotel they were staying at. We're heading in the general direction of that, although it's not dissimilar to the direction that Viv knows the mistress's home is. Different area, but I mean, maybe they're taking back roads. And also, just for context, on nighttime, it's sort of 9 or so now. Like it's well into the evening.
It's not exactly the time you go make social calls, especially on a dead Pologne's, squeeze.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree. I think we should see the house now before it gets, to midnight, and then, well, I don't really want to be spotted creeping around a dead man's house at midnight or even in the early hours of the morning. I think now is as late as we should go.
Okay. Well, let's do that, and then I guess tomorrow morning, do we want to head down into Arkham proper and try and track down this woman?
I think so.
All right. Well, that's a plan then.
Okay. So the three of you take off back over the college green and towards the cottages. Professor Chase's house is nearby, as is Viv's, conveniently, because it's one and the same. And you arrive in front of Professor Lighter's small cottage. There's a little, circle of bushes out the front. Some tracks where the car pulled up recently. It's a 2-story building. There's windows along the side. Half of them curtained, others sort of like open enough that you'd be able to peek inside, and there's a door at both the front and back.
You got the keys yet, Professor Chase?
I surely do.
You
try and keep your ovals open, hey?
So as Tom keeps a lookout, Stephen steps up and puts the first of these are like the university keys, which apply to a lot of the cottages, and as you slide it into the lock, it not only does it not turn, it doesn't even fit. It's pointedly wrong. You should check another one, and visibly different. And looking down at them, you can actually see that the lock is shinier than most everything else on the door. It looks like they've actually been changed not too long ago.
Yeah. Professor Leiter seems to have changed the locks on his house. I don't think he's meant to do that under the terms of the lease agreement, but that's
Well,
concerning.
we can try the back, or chicken.
Yeah, I can try.
I was just gonna say, how do you feel about windows?
I can try. Let me have a look to see if anything's open. I'd rather not go breaking stuff, but if we can't find anything there, we'll get something open one way or another.
So there are other houses around. Breaking a window would almost certainly alert someone unless you're very subtle. Do you want to give me a spot hidden check looking for an open window, or otherwise I could take a climb roll. One of the higher up ones is almost certain to be open. They wouldn't need to be locked.
Yeah, but it's all kinds of bricks around it. I don't want to get up there.
Yeah, so you begin trying to look for a thing. There just isn't an easy ascent. You could push it. There's some guttering with loose vines around it that you might be able to clamber up. The risk is more noise than personal injury.
Okay, well, let the others have a try first, and then I'm going to try and climb up up the guttering.
Sure. So while you're looking for an ascent, Viv and Steven, what are you guys doing?
If I've got the same layout house,
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a chance I know how to get in through the back door or a side window that always opens easily?
That's a really good idea. Can you give me a flat intelligence roll?
Intelligence.
And
I sure can.
nice. Viv, what are you working on?
I think Viv is just going to keep an eye out for things at the moment. Just sort of, yeah, just looking at.
Sure.
around.
Okay. You give me a spot hidden check if you want, but I will make a note that you are watching. The entries and exits. If anyone comes up, you'll notice them. So you circle around past Tom, Professor Chase, and you're looking around, and you get to one of the windows that in your house looks like they had just shoddy installations for all of these, and there was a big complaint that went around. They all had to get replaced because double glazing or something or another. The insulation was rubbish, and these new ones, some of them didn't have locks installed. So you find the right one, and as you shoot a jimmy under it, yeah, they're heavy enough, but you're able to slide it up, and you have an entry right into the kitchen in the back. It's a bit of an awkward clamber, and you'll go in over the sink, but you're in.
Excellent. I gather my companions.
Well done, Professor. You'll make it as a housebreaker yet.
Oh, I wouldn't go so far.
Okay, you heading first. I'll follow. Viv can stay outside and keep watch, then join us if it doesn't look like we've spooked anybody.
Okay. So Stephen, you scramble in through the slightly raised window. You're on the top of a kitchen counter. There's a couple of dirty plates which you have to push out of the way, and then you land on the floor and you can dust yourself up. As Thomas is coming in, you take a quick look around. It's dark inside. There's no lights currently on. And if you want to maintain the illusion of an empty house, you might want to keep it that way, but it's a little difficult to see. The place is in light to moderate disarray. Looks like it was seeing heavy use, and he doesn't seem like the sort of man who cleaned super regularly. From the kitchen, the rough layout of the house. You'll be able to move through to the there's a den, a study, a sitting area, and then up on the second floor there's a bedroom and a guest bedroom.
Hey, Professor, we're allowed to be in here, right? We was given permission and everything.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's not our fault that the key didn't work. As Professor Leiter changed the locks, you see, the dean wouldn't have known. He just gave us what he thought was a copy of the correct key. So I think, legally speaking, we're in the clear. There's no need to stick around.
I reckon we check if we can open the door from the inside. Maybe it's got a quick release latch on the inside, and then we can light up everything and just explain if anyone wants to come talk to us.
So
Quite right. I think that's fine.
So what I'm going to do is I've just moved you guys over to a new Roll20 screen. So this one has the cottages, and let's see if I can show it to the viewers as well. I can't. It's black. Give me 1 second. Let's see.
Shall we ever know the truth?
Yeah, I think it's because it's the wrong name.
Behind the darkness on the screen.
We're not doing that. That's fine. Let's go back to the all, and I will try and fix that out later. But can you guys see that currently?
Yes, we can.
You can.
What a beautiful house. Oh, if only everyone else could.
Give me one moment, actually. Yeah, talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, well, I'll open the door. Viv, come on through. It's an easy climb. Don't hit the glass of water by the sink.
All right. Clink.
So we're looking for this journal. Keep an eye out for it. And I guess, look, if you do find a giant pile of money, let's get a hold of those thugs real quick because we don't want to end up on the wrong side of them.
That's right.
I actually looked it up because this feels like the perfect moment to throw that in. $11,000 is about $150,000 today. So that is a lot of money.
That is quite a handbag.
And I always have to do it's US dollars too. So for our, it's like almost 300,000 in down under funny
Dollary
money.
dues.
Dollary dues, yeah.
Exactly.
That's a fine looking map you got there for the Twitch viewers,
It
David.
is, and then it was the wrong one. It was the wrong screen. That's my screen. It's got all the GM secrets on it.
Oh no, that's all right. The viewers can see that.
Yeah, we can't see it.
It's because I had it teed up for the Amidst the Ancient Trees game. Anyway, but so as you guys can see, you have come in on this room here. That's like the kitchen. And you have the layout, so you're able to direct as you will, Stephen.
Imagine it's a very similar layout to the house
It would be identical. They mass produced these fellas.
I suppose we should start in the study. If there's anything he's taken from his office, it'd be there. But as we move around, let's just be careful. Keep an eye out for anything that indicates that we're not the first ones here since the man died.
I maintain we should open the doors and turn on all the lights. It'll make our job for searching easier, and we're allowed to be here. Does the front door have a quick release on the inside that I can just open it up?
Yeah. So going through to the front door now, you can see that it's like a sitting room. You go past couches and chairs. There is a fireplace towards one side, and as you get to the front door, it's got a pair of like deadbolts installed, which you can slide out, take off the chain, and then the lock opens from the inside without a key. As you swing it open, Vivian can enter. As you do, you also notice that there's a small gathering of mail underneath the door that slides forward with it.
Look at those.
I'm going to prop open the door with a chair or something, and then I'm going to flick on all the lights so we can actually work publicly and have the door open so that it's very visible that we're not trying to,
yeah, definitely
be suspicious.
All right, you begin to turn on lights. You turn on the porch ones, which throw out yellow illumination into the street below, and you can now see the interior. The area looks a bit hurried. There's like a jacket tossed over one of the couches. You can see the plants are filled with water. Like there's an extra inch or so on top of them, and the trays underneath them are drenched. And in each of the rooms, there's signs of activity. Chairs moved out of the way, and as if people have just been searching around. What are the three of you doing? How are you dividing up and beginning to look around the area?
The plants are filled with water? Someone stopped to water the plants?
Maybe he thought he'd be gone for a while and filled them up extra.
Maybe our dear friend, dearly departed Dr. Leiter, was planning on doing exactly what those thugs thought he was going to do and Scarpa.
Right. That's possible.
I'm going to I don't know if it's still a crime against a dead man, but I'm going to open his mail. And I'm also going to look through his jacket for a set of keys.
I reckon that is still a crime.
Probably.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Viv works on morality more than legality, so.
Sure. All right. So you begin to go through the mail and the his pockets. Give me a spot hidden check. This is looking for the keys, and then when we get back to you, I'll describe the mail in further detail. Professor Chaosium and Thomas Oletti. What's the plan?
I'd be inclined to start in the study.
Okay. So you're going to head into the study room, which is just here.
I never use studies, so I'm going to start up in the bedroom. Look under the bed, under the pillows, under the mattress. That's where the real good stuff's going to get hidden.
Sorry, that implies you do use bedrooms, and I know that everyone uses bedrooms, but the context of use a bedroom is oh my.
I do all my best work lying down.
All right, so Tom stomps upstairs and begins to look through the bedroom. So let's go through each room in order. Inside the study, you can see that there are bookshelves filled with tomes. This is clearly where he does the bulk of his work, and it has a spread of historical knowledge that's significant. Professor Leiter was a talented historian, although a bit lazy and prone to shortcuts where he could get them. You can see, spread around the area, quite a few pieces from the Hobhouse estate. Would you want to do a library use to get a read on the information that's inside, or what do you think?
I would want nothing more.
Okay, all right. Why don't you give me a library use check? Tom, as you go up to the bedroom, you can see that there is a suitcase laid out right in the center of it, filled with clothing. There's also, it looks as though there's like grooves underneath the bed where it's been repositioned and dragged over to make space for something. What are you doing in the room? Just going through his stuff, or are you looking for something in particular?
I'm gonna try and move the bed along those grooves. I reckon there's a hiding place in here, and I want to find it.
Okay. Do you want to make a spot hidden check for me?
Can I argue if there's grooves on the floor? Can I argue a track check?
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm lying on the ground trying to. It doesn't make sense. The bed would have walked over this way.
Yeah, no, I mean, it just looks like there's scratches around it, and a quick search of the area doesn't reveal anything immediately. All right, Viv, you... Oh, no, extreme success. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, you find a spare set of keys towards the side, and they're still like slightly taped together. They're the new ones he got when the locks were changed. One of them's been torn away and he's carrying it. It looks as though he has not given a spare key to anyone. This is the spare. He has the only copy. It's probably still on his person. Additionally, going through the mail, you're going to find 3. One, there is a letter addressed from the Arkham Asylum. A second is what looks more like a business card for a store called one second, Unconsidered Trifles, and on the back it says, "I'm still interested if you wish to talk, Abner Wick." Abner Wick being the name that is signed. And finally, there is a folded up piece of paper with just a message scrawled from one Lucy Stone saying, "Chucky, I love you, but I'm worried. You need to talk to me." There is no address listed on this one. The asylum one is closed, and this one would be the one that is illegal to open. It is private information, most likely. Do you want to give it a pop?
Well, I think we should very briefly, express how Viv feels about this. Which is, he finds the keys, goes, "Oh, that's useful." Goes through some of the letters and is like, "Oh, jumps on the couch, puts his feet up, cracks it open."
Do you have like a pen knife or something that you open it with, or do you get the sword cane out?
I would assume that if he has regular mail, he'd have something probably nearby, like on a small console table near the door, because most people, open mail near the door if they have mail come through the door. At least that's what my parents did.
Nope, definitely.
So I'd probably have a look for something like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I don't think he'd care enough to try and reseal it or something. It's just like, meh.
Yeah, you're just getting it open and then you can take a look. Yeah, so you run the dull sort of like letter knife over it, and when it pops open, there is a small folded up piece of paper from the Arkham Sanatorium. You have the address for it. It's not too far. It is not the one that the two of you went to. You went to a private sanatorium for therapy. This is the sort of bulk bill public one, which is a little rougher. And inside it says, "Dear Sir, we're writing to you in regards to the matter of one Cecil Hunter, person with whom we have assigned you guardianship. Unfortunately, his status has gotten worse, and we need you to come down urgently. He refuses to speak with any of the nurses or the staff. Yours, and then a Mr. Argyle has signed the document."
Wow. Okay.
I wonder if this is where all his money has been going. I'll just slide it back in and sort of like put all of the mail back on the side table. I mean, it's open, but it's there. I'm not gonna steal it as well as read it.
Speaking of his money, Professor Chase, inside the room you have found not inconsiderable amount of information. There is a lot of stuff referring to the Hob House investigation that they're looking into. It documents a lot of New England history, and the most interesting item that they found is something that they're referring to as the Hob House Witch Trial Papers, which, according to Professor Leiter, they are one, incredibly value and a tremendous find, and they appear to be a first-hand account of a witch who was burned at the stake, and it also, and this is the astounding part of it, it includes some of her own inscriptions and remarks. It also then goes into a lot of detail on the exact status of the paper. It talks about of like the journal, the document, like, you know, what kind of leather it's made out of, the exact nature of the stitching. It seems to be focused on like the piece itself as well as just the contents. Additionally, with the success, you can see that he keeps his like accounting here as well, and although he is a little over eager to spend it, he does document his expense as well. He is incredibly in debt, and the influxes, like the constant rises and falls in cash, can only be a gambling addiction, which has him in debt with not only the casino which these two fine gentlemen, Oaks and Shaughnessy, represent, but also a number of other ones. He's loaned money from one place or the other, and it's a mess. It also seems to be that he is making, his income is only minorly from the university. A vast majority comes from another business or something that isn't listed. It has money coming in from it, but it doesn't specify where it's from or what he's doing.
Well, he doesn't call it anything? He doesn't have a name for it?
No. In fact, it's actively suppressed. Like, he seems to be trying to keep something secret. He's very careful about how he phrases it. Upstairs, you're unable to move the bed. This is clearly a bachelor's place, though. You can tell there is no signs of a wife. Going through the cupboards, there is no clothing that would even suggest it. The guest bedroom is very like sanitized and very rarely used, although you do find a woman's shoe or something in one of the corners of his own bedroom. He does have visitors, possibly a partner, but no one lives here full time.
Well, I reckon head back downstairs, reconvene with the others. We can try and go through the clues that we found so far.
Sure.
So, shall we skip the? We all catch each other up with what we've all found.
Yep.
And then once we can start firing along theories.
Oh no, I should have been listening.
Well, so there's a couple of interesting things. We got the Cecil Hunter down at the Arkham Asylum. That's somebody that we could go speak to.
Maybe. I don't. As much as I think it's important to find out what's going on, I don't necessarily think prying into his personal affairs with family is necessarily the most important thing we do.
Thomas, could you give me an education check quickly? And sorry,
Sure.
Continue, guys.
Well, hold on. If he's got family, there's a chance that this Cecil person doesn't know that he's dead, right? I mean, what if no one at the university knows about this family or friend?
Yeah.
No, but I don't necessarily think a bunch of strangers going into a madman's room and saying, "I'm terribly sorry, your guardian's dead," is going to have a really good effect on the young man.
Not at all. We're in charge of settling Professor Leiter's affairs, and we have found an affair that may need to be settled.
Are we, Stevie, or are we in charge of finding these witch papers? Because it seemed like the Dean was more interested in us finding missing documents, not settling affairs.
Well, I wouldn't feel comfortable ignoring it.
I'm not suggesting we ignore it. I just am suggesting we don't use it as our primary investigative source for finding a bunch of papers.
For sure. I know, and I hear you both. I reckon, Viv, you're right. It's a little, we don't want to go prying into a personal a situation, awkward and everything. There is another thing to be said, though. It sounds like from what you're saying, this Cecil needs help, I guess. You know, the nurses and the staff down at the asylum might need to know, hey, Leiter's not coming. You're gonna have to figure out what to do with this poor person by yourself. That, and on a more practical note, you know, you and I both know that asylums and strange stuff tend to go hand in hand. So if there's any smoke and gun, so to speak. But look, we've also got this this Abner Wick character. What was the place called? Unconsidered Trifles?
Yes, Unconsidered Trifles. Which you said, Stevie dear, that there was money coming in from an unknown source. I wonder.
Yeah.
Well, you think he's like, it's like he's Unconsidered Trifles? He's working there.
I'm suggesting that Leiter might have been shifting some, perhaps university property to cover some of his debt.
That makes perfect sense. Or maybe he could have sold the journals to this Abner Wick then. Quite
possibly. Although, Stevie, your Professor Leiter, he wasn't an idiot, was he?
Well, no, I wouldn't have said so.
So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. They'd make a bunch of notes about these papers and then he would go and sell it. I mean, the university knew they were looking into these things. If there was no record at all, I would agree. Trust me, I'd do the same thing. But, you know, it seems out of character. So I'm not suggesting that he sold papers, but perhaps other things. Or another theory would be that perhaps this Abernwick person, I wasn't really paying attention, maybe he more has an academic interest in seeing things rather than buying things, perhaps.
That's a good
Well,
point.
I mean, selling them is the simplest explanation, isn't it, to how he's getting all this money?
Also, those papers, I hear where you're coming from. Maybe they're a requirement of the sale, you know, like they're whatever, like a bill of, you know, when you sell a house, you got to write down all the information on it. Maybe that's why there's so much focus on the stitching and everything.
Potentially. Oh, you're suggesting they're making a replica?
Oh, that's an even better idea. I hadn't thought of that. No, I was thinking like, you know, they're writing. You know, when you buy antiques, it's like, oh, you know, it was a Louis XIV, you know, wood paneled, got a lock on the side, and you know, people care about that kind of stuff when they're buying old furniture, right?
Well, I mean, I suppose so, but you do get the same kind of restrictions when it comes to, you know, prop use and things like that. Someone's got to tell you what sort of thing the prop's meant to look like, so...
Well, no, I think Thomas's explanation could be more likely. I mean, Professor Leiter is quite deep in the hole here. I think he'd be quite desperate to move whatever he could, and he does talk about the valuation of this journal. You know, he had an expert opinion, so he's cataloged it very closely, and I think the most likely thing is it's missing because he sold it.
Look, that said, if he's that deep in the hole, sorry to interrupt you, Viv, but I'm agreeing with you here. If he's that deep in the hole, he might have wanted a forgery so he could sell it multiple times.
Just a thought, actually. Our delightful Omi Roach had the inventory, didn't he?
Yeah.
If the papers aren't listed on the inventory, then we have our answer.
And you think Roach is mixed up in all this?
Oh Lord, no! I
debt
think
and cover-up?
Roach just has a mangy eek, and I couldn't care less. He's an awful Omi. No, I just mean he has the inventory, and if these witch trial papers are missing on the inventory, but there is a detailed description of them in Leiter's personal apartments, then there's a solid chance that, yes, he sold them. If there is a copy of, a record of these in the inventory, and then it makes no sense that he would sell them, unless he was also planning, oh no, Thomas, you said he was packing to leave.
And, you know, he could have just not thought anyone was going to be taking a look into this kind of stuff. Maybe, you know, but I hear you. it sounds like we got three distinct leads here. We got the lead towards Cecil up at the Arkham Asylum. We got the lead towards the one we already had down towards Lighter's girlfriend.
Possibly this Lucy Stone, but
Lucy Stone. I mean, it makes sense. I didn't
I didn't get a name from
Not from
From
Anthony,
Lucy.
but you got a description. Slender woman with peroxide blonde hair. Very pretty. But no
sounds
name.
like a Lucy. Yeah.
It depends on how many delightful Dolly Polones he had.
True. And I guess then we've got this lead towards Abner Wick. So
It's,
I mean,
I don't know.
it's late
Big-
as well, and outside the fall wind is whipping around. The window which you opened to get inside has creaked shut during a conversation, and there's a stillness in the air. You can hear the creaking of the old house, and it's not enough to necessarily shake you, but you're all feeling wariness from the day.
I reckon we should lock this place back up and get to bed. Then we can decide tomorrow where we want to go. It's 3 places and 3 of us. We could look at splitting up, or
I think for these, perhaps we should stick together. One thing I do want to put on our to-do list tomorrow, and I'll hold up the key. Let's go and get the only other one of these that's on lighter, hopefully. I don't
Sure.
think anyone else should have access to this place.
Yeah.
Well, not that it's going to stop them. I mean, we got in pretty easily without the key.
Well,
We can lock things up.
on that note, I sleep in a bunk about half a mile that way in a smelly room with 2 other people. The guest room upstairs was looking pretty empty and pretty flash. I'm just saying, I could crash here. You don't want anyone in? I'll make sure of it.
How far away is Steven's?
About
I'm just around the corner.
Yeah, a block away, just outside of like eye line, but a short sprint if the need arose.
You still have that gun, don't you?
Oh yeah.
I feel like we'd probably hear a gunshot at that distance.
Yeah, look. I'm happy to. I'll sleep here. If someone wants to come in and try and toss the place over, I can.
Well, all right. As long as you think it'll be safe. Well, I think it's. Do you want to leave the lights on, make it apparent someone's home to scare them off, or are you trying to entrap someone here into breaking in?
I don't sleep so good. The flight's on, but look, I reckon we'll be fine.
Well, all right. We're just around the corner. I don't think it'd be a problem.
Yeah, sure thing. All right. Well, I'll meet you all here in the morning. Viv, could you bring me like a sandwich or something?
Of course I can, chicken anything.
Okay, perfect. All right. See you both in the morning. I gotta
Keep well.
head upstairs.
So you show them to the door like it's your place. You see them out. You wave. See you soon.
By the by, though, I'm keeping the key. You can lock it from the inside.
Easy. Yeah.
Okay,
On the off chance we need to get in and you're, I don't know, unconscious.
that's a good idea. So Viv and Steven depart, and Tom, you close the door and begin to head upstairs, turning the lights off as you go. As darkness fills the room, the light from the moon can't penetrate all the blinds, and heading upstairs, you're blindly feeling your way along the banister in an unfamiliar house. Each of the sort of stairboards creak, and you keep on seeing shapes, like coats hung up on racks and things that just make you a little uneasy. Are you going to sleep in the guest bedroom? Is that what's planned?
Yeah.
All right.
Guest bedroom.
You open the door and there's a little bit of dust filtering through the air. This isn't a well-used bedroom, and as you begin to unwind your boots on the side of the bed, it's comfortable, but the whole thing's a little uneasy. Do you take any precautions tonight?
I made sure that everything downstairs was locked. Otherwise, I sleep in my clothes because I don't got nothing else. But
Where's the
not
gun?
really. I put it on the bedside table right next to me.
Okay. Put it on the bedside table and close your eyes, and it's a while before you can will yourself to sleep. Viv and Stephen, you head back to Professor Chase's cottage, and Jackson, can you describe your home for us? What personal touches have you added to this university property?
I think it's fairly bare. It's fairly,
Of course it is.
kept to the standard that it was when he moved in. Stephen grew up in Arkham, so he's got like another place that contains most of his personal affairs from his earlier life. But when he got to the university, he kind of just took what he needed and he moved into student accommodation. And then from the student accommodation, he pretty much moved straight into the staff cottages. And he's only been here a year or so, so there really isn't much to speak of. He thinks that everything the university has provided is kind of all he needs. So it really looks emptier, I think, than even Professor Leiter's cottage. No plants. That takes upkeep, and he might have to take a trip. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
the character is lack of character.
Yeah, exactly. So in that case, then, as you head upstairs and into the main bedroom, and Vivian, I presume, goes into the guest. Viv, what personal touches have you brought to this small and unloved room?
So I feel like Steve has done a wonderful job of being like, everything is plain, everything is just as it is, except the first thing that you see as you walk in, and there's like, the lounge area, it's just like a giant thing of flowers, just like color. Viv, like, his room is like, there's clothes strewn over chairs and like the wardrobe's open, and it's an assault of color. Like, Viv is very much just about living and life and frivolity and things like that. There is a tarnished kind of, it's not gold, but it pretends to be gold's like mirror. Like, one of those theater ones that he sort of propped up against one of the walls on a small desk that he uses, and there's like toiletries and things strewn on the desk. He's essentially set up in his little armoire or something like that.
So there's no part of this that looks like you're here for a short trip.
Oh,
you're settled in.
This is very much like, because I think we've said now we've been here for sort of like 3 to 4 months. Viv is very much getting settled in.
Yeah.
And like subtle things like the arrangement of flowers have started to like leak out into other parts of the house. And I don't know if Stephen is like, make it go away, or he's just like, But
he's politely ignoring it for now.
Yeah, there's probably like a very violently colored shirt like hanging over the banister near the guest bedroom, just like casually tossed there for some reason. Yeah, slow incursion of life.
Every time some of your flowers and like leaves make it out into the floor, Stephen always sweeps them up from the hallway and then just leaves them in a small pile in front of your door, hoping that you'd passive aggressively
get the message.
Would clean them up himself. But instead, it's like this burst. It literally looks like the leaves and the petals are leaking out from under the door.
I sympathize completely with Vivian. I too am sleeping in the place I'm not meant to be.
All right. So Viv and Stephen find their own rooms, wish one another good night, and fall asleep. As darkness surrounds, it's a thick and heavy night, and your minds begin to wander in your dreams. They're fretful and filled with recent events. What I need each of you to do is make a hard listen test for me, and I only care who succeeds.
Oh no.
That's not great, is it? Not a good sign.
All right, nothing to worry about.
None of you wake except Stephen. Late at night, you get up to like get a drink of water or cold milk, whatever your preference is, and you head downstairs to the kitchen. Opening it, you can see a little bit of light filtering through the window, and you reach down to fill your glass from the tap, and suddenly you get that feeling that like you'd noticed something out of your corner of your eye, and that there was someone watching you. And as you suddenly run back out and into the landing, you look over and you see that the door is slightly ajar, and you are certain that you had closed it last night. and locked it.
The front door.
The front door.
Wander over and take a look outside.
You head over and sort of creep it open and look outside, and there's no one around, no real signs of disturbed gravel or anything. It's as if it just fell open. And you're in that like tired enough state that you're kind of just able to push this away, and like maybe I just forgot to close it, and there can't be anything too much. And as you close the door and you go back upstairs, the camera sees in the kitchen, right where you were filling the tap, there is a person standing at the window that watched everything you did. And you go back upstairs.
Looking in?
Looking right in and at you. And you go back upstairs and you fall asleep. And we're going to take a short break and then come back in for the next day of investigation. So we will see everyone in 10 minutes. We're back. G'day! Welcome back to the Stream of Chaos. Let's get rid of the spooky music because it's officially morning. Cha-cha-cha. All right, so the three of you wake up. Thomas, you're in a strange house. Vivian, beautiful flower spread room. And Stephen, you can't help but shake the feeling that you had like a dream last night. And it's kind of still there, but it's kind of up to you to run with. What's the plan?
I'm gonna head downstairs and like cook breakfast, make the most of pretending I have a house.
Yeah, okay,
for
yeah.
a while.
You head downstairs and go into the fridge. The like the milk is definitely off, but the eggs can keep for a little bit.
Perfect.
There's no like meat or anything, but there's like cereal in one of the things, and yeah, you begin to have a bit of bloody brekkie. And there's already dirty dishes piled around, so you see no sense in
Slide
cleaning.
right in.
All right, Viv and Steven, what's the morning routine?
I guess I cook breakfast.
Water and cereal?
I think Viv is very proficient at making tea. So like, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong here, Stephen, but I feel like they've got their routine. Like Viv comes down, like isn't very much of a morning person, so it's just like pottering around making tea, sort of grumbling to themselves. It's like the only time of day where Viv is just like a gremlin. First cup of tea fixes everything.
Steven's been up for an hour.
Yeah, well, we've got a big day today, so I think it calls for dippity eggs and soldier toast.
Sounds lovely, darling. I'm going to make tea.
Some eggs and toast. You got to keep your strength up.
Yes, but tea, Stevie. You know, tea.
I'll get some eggs and toast for you just in case.
Yeah, that. Thank you. That would be. Do you want a cup of tea or not?
No, I had my coffee about an hour and a half ago. I think I'm okay.
Good, I can tell. I'm gonna go make tea.
So, as Steven's, I presume, putting in eggs to boil for the exact right amount of time, he's got a custom egg spinner or whatever for it.
Egg timer.
There's a knock at the door.
I think Viv will sort of blearily go and open it.
I'll get it if you like.
No, it's you're cooking, dear darling. I'll answer the door. It's fine. Don't want to ruin eggs. Just like sort of like this is the only time where Viv does not saunter. He does not lounge. She sort of just like blearily
drags the slippers across the ground.
It's like got a cup or a mug of tea and just sort of like
skulks.
Yes.
You get to the door and open it, and there's an older gentleman, white-haired, who you have not actually met before, but you saw leaving the morgue the previous day. This is Dr. John Wheatcroft, and he says, "Good morning. Sorry for the early call. Is Professor Chase here?"
Yes, he's in the kitchen. What's your name, sorry?
Dr. Wheatcroft. Sorry, I'm a colleague of your brother's
cousin. Dr. Wheatcroft. Vivian. Do come
Pleasure
in.
to meet you.
Stevie, darling, you've got a visitor. It's Dr. Wheatcroft.
Oh, Dr. Wheatcroft. Can I put some eggs on for you?
Oh, I never turned down a good egg in the morning.
Oh, great.
I'd enjoy that very much. Thank you, Stephen. You do have a lot of family. He's doing that sort of like awkward call into the kitchen from the outside room. Tea would be lovely.
Vivian is my cousin from across the pond, you know. I hope you met.
He turns to you, Viv, and says, "Oh, so are you related to the larger gentleman as well, or is that on the other side?" His brother, whom I met yesterday.
Oh, his brother. No, different sides of the family, I'm afraid.
Different sides to the brother. Well, it is. Family trees were never my expertise.
Cousin, different side of the. Yes.
Listen, all I wanted to call in for, aside from a lovely egg, is Stephen. If you're going to investigate the body later at night, would you mind running it past me next time?
Sorry, what?
Just if you could just let me know, and I need to update files and make sure everything's recorded.
Oh, well, I'm afraid you might have to make other inquiries. We didn't. I didn't visit the body last night when you weren't there.
You didn't?
No. No, I didn't.
Your brother might not have returned, and.
Well, that's possible. Well, since he's not here, Doctor, I feel like I shouldn't keep up the facade. That man wanted it to be known that he was related, but the truth is I'd only just met him a few minutes before. He was quite keen to see the body, and well, the truth is he was quite insistent on that little masquerade and seeing the body for himself. He was an associate of Professor Leiter's, but not a relation of mine. I'm sorry to have deceived you. He was just
Threatening to kneecap you.
From the other room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the fireplace.
Okay.
Doctor goes, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. What was his intent? I mean,
well, he had some debts to call in from Professor Leiter, and when I told him he was no longer with us, he just wanted to see for himself, which I think is reasonable.
Stephen, this is a problem. If a man you signed in and vouched for as your brother has stolen a corpse, especially one that's currently under some sort of investigation, this is serious.
I'm sorry, did you say stolen?
Well, it isn't there.
Oh, heck.
That's okay. That's okay. We can sort this out. I happen to have the hotel he's staying at. So if it was him, and you know, we can't say for sure it was, then we can get to the bottom of it. We can straighten it out.
God, Stephen. All right, listen. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna make sure none of the students did anything foolhardy. I'm gonna take this egg to go, and he takes the hard-boiled egg and wraps it in like a piece of paper and puts it into his pocket. If anything comes up, please get in contact with me as soon as possible, and by the end of the day at the latest. And I'll
if you'd like to call the authorities, I can give you the hotel that that gentleman was staying at.
Listen,
but yeah, I really think he's not to be trifled with. There's with him some intimidating people.
Well, Bryce has made it very clear he doesn't want the authorities involved at the moment. If they start looking into the body, we're going to get all sorts of untold scrutiny. But if a corpse is missing, and if these are hoodlums or something, then we may need to escalate soon. Listen, let's look for today and then touch base as soon as possible. Nice meeting you, sir.
Here, and I'll hand him a mug of tea and be like, just bring the mug back.
Oh, thank you. Much obliged. I'll see you both this evening. And as he leaves, he probably passes Thomas, who's on the way here. Professor Chase, can you give me a sanity check, please?
Yeah, I can. Now, I've got my starting sanity at 58. Is that reset now that it's a new day, or is that at the start of the scenario?
That's right. So for your fifth value, you are at the start of the day. You have rested.
Start of the day. So I was at 54 out of 58, and I'm going to change that to now I'm 54 out of 54.
Yes, I'm with you.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good way of doing that. That's probably what that's for.
Is it?
Yeah. So you can keep track of your starting for the day. Is that how everyone's been doing it? That's how I've been doing it.
I just assumed
That's
like whatever
what
you rolled.
that's for.
Yeah, to keep track of your starting, so you know when you drop below a fifth.
The official
How do you know
Chaosium
you drop
stream,
below?
bro.
Does the character sheet do something when you drop below a fifth?
No,
No,
yeah,
it's
because it's
just
under
for
the fifth.
yourself.
That makes so much sense.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna use
Well,
that.
you-
Good. Thank you,
Were you
Jackson.
folks keeping it at your power or something?
Yeah, I was writing down what my
I-
starting sanity, like when it
Yeah,
began.
because for some reason I assumed you could never go over your starting sanity, which given the last
you-
campaign we were in is categorically
definitely
untrue.
can.
So never mind.
Well, that was a revelation.
But for
Thank
the
you.
folks at home, if you're using the official Call of Cthulhu character sheet and roll 20, yeah, I've been using the right value as the start of the day, and the left as the current, so you know what you're up
And
to.
yeah, that's exactly how it should be used, and I'm sure is intended. Fantastic! Look at that.
great.
Learn a new
Good
thing
talk.
every session.
Roll 20.
All right.
It's never been easier. Oh, that's the other thing. Great. All right. So I'm going to reset my starting sanity to 54 because it started at 58 yesterday. Now it's 54. So now my new starting sanity is 54. And then roll a sanity check, which I will succeed.
Okay. You're able to, you don't get shaken by it, but looking back and thinking towards last night, the general body type and shape of whatever that in your dream or whether it was really there, you think maybe you dreamed of Professor Leiter, or maybe you saw him or something.
I
It's
didn't
just
see
enough
any
to kind of-
figures or anything, did I? That
You,
was-
out of the corner of your eye, maybe. It's just a feeling you can't help but shake now. Tom
good.
enters at this same time.
I'm coming from the house, and those eggs are all going to go off. So I've cooked all of them, and I've got my hat, and it's filled with hard-boiled eggs. Walk past Wheatcroft nodding, pulling eggs from my hat.
He takes out his one, so the good.
Cheers. So everyone sleep okay?
Thomas,
Mm?
you remember how there, at the lake there was some Walking Dead things?
Yeah.
Yeah,
all too
possibly
well.
round 2.
Let me get you some toast to wash those eggs down with.
Thank you. That'd be nice. More of them. More Walking Dead.
Apparently Leiter's corpse is up and left.
We can't assume that. We can't assume that,
I
that
can.
it's the same. You can, but you might not be right. It could have just been stolen, which is
Stolen
not
for?
better. But well, no, I'd say it's better.
Yeah,
I don't know
look,
if anyone would be interested in stealing that body.
I hope it's just that someone has stolen a body, but on the off chance that it isn't, I thought it would be appropriate to give Chicken here a warning.
So what? Did you see it? Did you kill it? Well, you didn't kill it. Did you see it?
No, Dr. Wheatcroft just passed by, told us the body was missing, and
Well, no,
well,
he said not to come and see the body without his permission,
because it's
implying
missing.
that you were there, and then said it was missing.
He said, next
Well, yeah,
time you do something, run it past me. Was kind of the idea.
He assumed that I had taken it, but that wasn't the case.
I find it very strange, just as an aside, I find it very strange that your colleague would think that you, of all people, Stevie, darling, would steal a body.
Well, I suppose he was just a little bit concerned and desperate. No one else really knows that there's a active investigation into Professor Leiter's death. So I suppose he just came here, hopefully hoping that it was me.
With all due respect, Professor, you straddle the line between, following every rule so perfectly that I think that, some people might suspect you got a couple of bodies in the basement. So if there was anyone who was going to steal stuff, maybe.
I don't know whether to be offended or not.
What I'm saying is you follow the rules almost inhumanly well. It's a compliment, and it's just,
Oh,
Most people don't follow rules inhumanly well, Stevie. Old Leiter.
yeah. Well, anyway, speaking of Leiter, we should find him. Look, he was mixed up in all sorts of things, right? With these gambling debts, and now with this a person he could have been selling artifacts to, and well, now there's witches involved. You know, I think any number of people could have been interested in making off with his corpse. I don't think there's reason to link it to what we saw in Bennington yet.
I'm not suggesting it's the same thing. I'm just suggesting that if we suddenly come across a walking corpse, I'd rather be prepared mentally. You know what I mean? Like, that was a lot, Stephen. A lot.
Look, we can confirm all of this. I think that we want. So, first of all, we've got these 3 leads. Time sensitivity only applies to 1. We want to try and get towards Lucy Stone, assuming that Lucy Stone is who we think she is, as quickly as possible. So let's do that. First, though, let's. I want to go to the morgue. If there was a walking body tearing around the campus, I should be able to spot where it's been. I don't imagine that they're so good at not leaving footprints. So I don't know. Can we get a car or something if we're heading down into Arkham? Is there like a lot that we can rent them out of, Professor?
Yeah, we rented a car. We can rent a car if we need to, as long as we comes back in one piece. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, well.
No promises. Remember that chicken incident.
Well, do the 2 of you want to go grab a car? I'll head over to, or maybe
maybe we should all go to the morgue first. If there's anything we can spot, I mean, Dr. Wheatcroft may appreciate it if we take a once over and see if we can find any clues. He may appreciate the extra pair of eyes.
There's every chance I don't find nothing. Why don't you just come meet me at the morgue with the car?
Well, all right then.
Take off from there.
If you want to go with Thomas to the morgue, I'm going to pick up the car. It's not an issue.
Well, no, I should sign out the car because I'm on staff. You 2 could go to the morgue and I'll get the car.
Not particularly interested in going to the morgue. Must be honest.
Do you want to go speak with Professor Roach? Check if you can confirm that the journal is the thing that's missing from the inventory?
Yes, let's go and speak to that delightful Amy Roach.
All right, well, that's... Each of us got a task. We'll meet back at the morgue in, say, half an hour.
Perfect.
Okay, so
Then
Professor
we'll head over
Chase
towards
is
Lucy Stone.
Professor Chase is getting a car. Viv's going to talk to Roach, and Tom, you're just going straight to the morgue to have a look around. Okay. So, Professor, you head back to the administrative building, and the normal way, especially if you're looking to escalate this and this quickly, would be to talk to the dean. Does that track?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd appreciate an update. Why not?
That's the one. So in that case, the dean, who's coming in and just having his sort of morning coffee and going over the paper, sees you coming in, says, Stephen, how's everything going? Oh, in my office, if you have a moment.
Yeah, that'd be good.
He sits down and folds the paper out and puts it over, and he says, I spoke with Harlan this morning, and he's progressing with documenting everything and moving forward. He had a few complaints about your boy, Thomas, but I think it's all resolved. And
Yeah, well, that was just a misunderstanding, I can imagine. Professor Roach is, I think, as keen as we all are to get to the bottom of this, and his vigor, I'm sure, is appreciated.
Well, that's exactly right, and I appreciate the effort so far. So, if you will, I mean, a short update wouldn't go amiss.
Of course. There surely is. We think we've discovered what's missing from the affairs of the Hobhouse estate. It's a journal concerning some witch trials and whatnot. I hate to disparage Professor Leiter's character, but right now I'm afraid it could have gone missing while Professor Leiter was still alive. There's a chance he may have sold it to cover some significant gambling debts that we've discovered. I don't know if that tracks with what you knew of the man.
It's disappointing, certainly, but I can't say I'm surprised. He's had some issues in the past with finance, and he was very eager to get this project.
Yeah.
Do you have any leads on where it might be?
Well, that's what we're tracking right now, and I'll let you know when we find more information. But there's two kind of main concerns that we're concerned about right now. One is there were some gentlemen on campus yesterday who were looking for him. They were quite persuasive in getting me to take them to the morgue to see the body. So that's what they did. They're kind of rough and tumble folks. Might want to word up the campus security if we've got any to keep an eye out for them if they're back. I'll give you the descriptions.
Yeah, he takes them. There is some camp security, so he'll set them to just keep an eye out. He says, I mean, what should I mean? If you say that, we'll make sure they're not allowed on the campus. We'll run them off if so, and we'll threaten to call the police if they pursue further. Is that?
I think that's probably for the best. Yeah, we don't really want them around. And the other concern, Dr. Wheatcroft stepped by this morning concerning Professor Leiter's remains, and they're a little bit gone. But we're gonna get that straightened out today, I'm sure.
Sorry,
they're just
Stephen. They're what?
Yeah. They're not where they were. Professor Leiter is elsewhere, but we're gonna find him and bring him back, so that should be fine. Anyway, good talk, and probably same time tomorrow. Does that work for you?
Yeah, same time tomorrow. Actually, I'd prefer an update tonight, depending on if you find our missing dead professor, Stephen.
That's probably for the best, yeah.
Sorry, elaborating, the corpse has gone missing.
I told you all I know, to be honest. We're gonna follow up with Dr. Wheatcroft as soon as possible.
Do you think the two gentlemen you described, could they have had something to do with it?
It's a possibility, but Professor Leiter's social circle is a little bit more expansive than I think anyone at the university knew. So there's a growing myriad of possibilities, to be honest.
All right. Well, thanks for updating me, Stephen. If there's anything we can do to help,
I could use a car to get around Arkham.
A car. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I'll get you sorted. He signs this slip for it and passes it over, and you can see him trying to be like, I should probably follow up on this corpse thing somehow, but I don't really know what the next step is. He passes it to you and he goes, everything's still in hand. I mean, I know what I said, we need to be careful, but if the police need to be involved, they need to be involved. That's at this point, if it goes beyond reputation, I mean, corpse theft is
well, I think we're on the same page. We're going to bring in the authorities as soon as we think it's necessary.
Okay.
We're causing minimal embarrassment to the university, of course.
That's appreciated. All right, well thank you again, Stephen, and keep the car for as long as you need. Just give me the receipts for
Thank
the
you.
end. All right.
That's very kind of you.
All right, and he slumps back down into his chair and stares into the middle distance, trying to figure out how this just got way worse. You head back downstairs, and you can select the cheeriest of cars. All right, Viv. You're probably in the nearby area. You probably walked over with Stephen and then diverted to head up to the history wing. Professor Roach's door is closed, but there's a nice bronze plaque on it that says Professor Harlan Roach, Professor of History.
Shave and haircut, no legs.
That you knock, and there's a what?
Good morning, Professor Roach.
Door opens about 2 inches. How can I help you?
I just wanted to stop by and say again how sorry we were to have interrupted you yesterday. I want to give you an update on some of the items that we believe might have gone missing.
Funny way of saying you're sorry by interrupting me yet again when I'm in the midst of my labors.
I mean, you didn't have to open the door.
I have a feeling you would have kept knocking.
Possibly. Regardless, Did you by any chance happen to have an inventory of everything in there? We wanted to double check that what we had found was what was missing.
Of course, I have an inventory. It's the first thing I found. It's what I've been working through this whole time.
I see. Of course, I should have known. You were given the job because you are the man for the job.
Yes, well, some would say that I should have been given the job from the beginning rather than Professor Leiter, but here we are.
You know, given that everything we're having to look into for Leiter, I think you might be right, sir. You think you might have been the man for the job all the time. May I inquire, and I don't mean to step on your toes in the investigation of the Hop House estate in any way, but was there a reference to a journal in your inventory that you found?
There is a reference to a number. Do you have some more specifics?
Oh, some kind of witch trial, something like that.
Look, come in. If you're going to be pestering with me with questions all morning, we may as well be comfortable. He opens the door, and inside, this dude is like super organized. Everything's got a place. His drawers all have small like stickers with labels on them so he can find where all of his things are. And before you can sit down in the chair across from his desk, he has to remove the plastic sheet from it so it doesn't get dusty. He sits down across from you and goes through a drawer, finds a notepad that he's working through, and produces the inventory. Talking with him, you can quickly confirm that he's still checking through everything and finding what else might be missing, but the journal is absolutely not there. He finds it and he says, yes, well, this one was, from what I gather, quite the find, and is still absent. I was going to have a look in Professor Leiter's cottage soon and see if he had maybe taken it home with him.
We had a quick shop around his cottage yesterday evening, and none of us were able to locate the journal, although given your meticulous eye for detail, perhaps you will have a better chance than we do. And I'd like to specify that Viv, for like this only time, is not lounging. He is meticulously placed in the center of the chair with his cane like at a nice sort of like 25-degree angle. Everything is very precise, and he's like being incredibly meticulous in a way to get this guy to sort of be at most at ease.
Yeah,
like
it's very chameleon.
He's gone very Hercule Poirot, if you will.
Yeah, and I mean, Roach seems to be reacting to it. He likes that you're treating things seriously, and also you're appealing to his ego. Ticking a lot of boxes. He says, yes, well, I'll probably have a second look. There's something, a historian's eye for detail tends to find things that are missed by lay folk.
Of course. Just so you're aware, Leiter has changed the locks, so if the Dean has given you the keys, they aren't going to work.
Devil. Have you a key? How did you enter then?
Via a window.
How uncouth.
Unfortunately, yes, but needs must. We do not have, as I said, your meticulous eye for detail. We are lay people, we do what we need to.
Presume not. Well, have you a key now, or must I also find egress through the window? I think egress might be exiting, actually, but all the same.
I think it's either. I think egress.
Oh, good.
Egress.
Then I'm correct.
I mean, I do have a key that I can provide for you. I assume it is reasonable for me to request this key back when you are done.
Of course. If your investigation continues, I will only hold it for as long as it is needed. He holds out a hand.
I will give him the key.
Yep.
And because we have the window.
When in doubt.
But I sort of say, and again, I am incredibly sorry that we made a mess of everything yesterday. If you do perchance come across the journal or any affairs that we might have missed in the cottage, would you be so kind as to perhaps leave a note with one of your students if you don't want to be bothered in your work, just letting us know?
As I've said before, Professor Leiter uses students. I tend to do everything myself, but I can get a message to you, or you can feel free to drop in. Mr. Langley, you've been most well presented this morning, and if needs must, I would prefer to speak to you again rather than the young professor or his strong-headed student.
But of course, you caught me on a bad day yesterday, unfortunately. dear Stevie does rub off on me.
Yes, oh, dear Stevie, indeed. It is curious. I've been doing an inventory that has expanded to the artifacts on Professor Leiter at his time of death. No key was found, so I wonder where it may be as well.
No key was found on his person.
No, not a one.
Interesting.
Perhaps
Thank you
it's
for that information.
concealed within the room, but my meticulous search has yet to find it.
Quite possibly. If you do find another key, feel free to hold on to that one. Make it easier for you to access rather than us running between with the same thing. It's always easier when things are efficiently done.
Yes, it is. Well, speaking of efficiency, I have work to return to, so I will bid you adieu.
Good evening. And I'm going to like stand up very precisely and walk in like probably the one area where like things aren't stacked, again, very precisely. And then right as before I close the door, say, and thank you again for your time, Professor. It was most appreciated.
You close the door, you can just hear like, what a pleasant young man.
And then like I get out the other side and like internally I'm like, God, that was so much work.
All right. So you can head down to meet Stephen in the garage, and Tom, you get to the morgue, and you realize you've done that like you get there only minutes after Dr. Wheatcroft returns. He sees you and he holds up his egg, which is now mostly eaten.
I gotta hold up mine, but it is already eaten, and I look sad, and he has a single tear that rolls down his face.
What are you gonna
do? I nodded him politely, and then I'm gonna. I may as well talk to him. I explain to him that I'm helping out Professor Chase.
Sure.
I grew up on a farm. I'm a tracker, somewhat. Did a lot of hunting. If someone was around here snooping about, I can probably tell. Do you mind if I have a look around?
Yeah, no, free reign. Just let me know if you need to get into any of the locked rooms. I'll have to escort you anywhere we keep documents or anything. But otherwise, have at it.
Hopefully I should just be outside, and I will search the area outside, try and figure out if either a lone body did wander off, or whether the car rolled up and...
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me a track roll.
Boom. Oh God.
That's a fumble.
That is a fumble.
All right.
Well, cool.
Okay. As you head to one of the, you look around for tracks, and you can find signs of vehicles going back and forth a number of times, but it's either early this morning or sometime last night. Nothing that seems to hit midnight. And then you're following boot prints when you suddenly find a bare foot planted in the mud that moves off. And you follow it for a ways before you lose it crossing the fields, but it's heading pretty much towards the cottages where you were last night. It's not shambling, it's walking upright and seems to be in control, but from what you've seen, it looks as though Professor Leiter has risen and taken himself walkabout. Go ahead and give me a sanity roll.
Okay, that is very fair. All right. Fail.
All right. Since you've encountered these before, we're going to do a D4 minus 1. Okay. All right. 3 points.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you've encountered the moving dead before, and they were reasonably together as well. This is unnerving, and you immediately find yourself cast back. You go through like breathing exercises, whatever your therapist taught you to handle this situation.
Yeah.
But
not great.
Yeah. As the car pulls up with Steven and Vivian inside it, we're in sort of 9 a.m. now. You're still trying to recenter yourself and draw your mind back into the present and away from the past.
Hurry over to the car and bang on the window, and it was Leiter. He got up. There's bare footprints. Someone walking without shoes towards the cottages.
That's concerning. Chicken, take a deep breath for me.
Okay.
Diaphragmatic breathing calms
Yeah.
stage nerves, all that kind of thing.
So you
Well, that
you
ain't
didn't,
good.
You didn't see him last night. You didn't see him at your cottage.
I mean, I got up in the night, and no, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything.
Stevie,
Yeah.
what did you hear or think you saw then?
Well, yeah, in the middle of the night, your imagination gets away with you, and sometimes you can think you see things out of the corner of your eye, but they're, that's all it is, imagination.
Then what did you imagine, darling?
Okay, well, he could have been there, but he didn't do anything. If he was there, it didn't do anything.
And you thought it best not to tell us there was someone in the house last night after everything we have been through, Steven.
Like I said, I thought I forgot to close the door, and there wasn't really anything there. Nothing had anything to say to me.
Oh, Jesus. If it went down to the cottages, then it's got to have some kind of purpose for going down there, right? It didn't come back to... I was sleeping in the house, and it didn't come to the house. So that's...
Are you sure? Because apparently they were missing... Well, there's a chance that if he did, he couldn't get in, because apparently he was missing his key.
So maybe we can find him around that area. Let's have a look around the outside of the house and check we can find him. But look, if he went down to the cottages and look, he wasn't going, he didn't come in and burst in to I don't know, eat your face, Professor Chase, sorry, or burst in to eat my face.
Why are we talking about majoring on eeks? It's just disgusting.
Look, I just, we should check on Amelia, is all I'm saying.
Oh, yes, that Dolly Pallone. Yes, we really should, you're right.
That's probably not such a bad idea.
I mean, I was going to suggest that Flinders might, scarpered with the body, but I guess that's out the window now.
Let's take a look. Let's check if we can pick up the trail back there. I might be able to. I don't know. We'll try and figure out something. Maybe with your help. We got to get down to the cottages. If there's a body roaming around there, I've walked a lot as well, Master David. How long would it take to walk to Arkham?
To Arkham? I mean, you're in it.
To where Lucy Stone is what I'm thinking.
To Lucy Stone. I mean, the campus is right. Hold up. Right in the center. We've got a map. Let's look at the map. Let me go to the view, so our lovely viewers. So Miskatonic campus, as pictured here, is sort of in the center of town. From there, you can pretty much access the rest of it, and Lucy Stone's shop is sort of, a block or two over. These are like, well-lit roads and things. It could be done. I mean, you could probably walk it in 20 minutes or so. You can get, I mean, it's in the middle of the city, you can get pretty much wherever you need to be. Relatively easy. I'm just going to draw. So that's the campus there, mirrored here, and Lucy Stone's cafe would be sort of somewhere over here or something. So not too far away at all. Oops.
Okay, well, it's not a kind of like, may as well have a look around, check if we can find the body before we head down towards Stone.
Well, I mean, if Leiter's body is in any way being influenced by what was left of his mind or spirit, then there's a chance that it took itself down to Lucy's anyway.
If it did that, then it's been there for 5 hours.
I think we should go.
So what's the plan? You're heading to Lucy's apartment or the restaurant she works at?
Professor, once again, look, I really think if it's there, it's been there for a while. Whereas if it stopped, it could be standing inside Amelia's house right now.
Well, that's a good point. Maybe we should track it while the trail's still warm.
Yeah,
there is absolutely nothing stopping us from knocking on Amelia's door as we go past, saying, "Hello, darling, are you all right?" and then going if she's fine.
Yeah, let's give that a shot.
All right.
It's on the way.
So you're gonna drive to Amelia's. It's a little bit, nothing major. It's like a block over, just because she lives in a nicer area and has a slightly nicer home. So you're gonna drive via Amelia's, is that right? And then head to the cottages. You are kind of going out of the way for it, but that's cars are magical instruments. All right, you all hop in and begin to chug away. Stephen, I presume you're driving?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, it's a smooth ride, and you've got some space in the back that you could put equipment or corpses as needed. Thomas can lounge in the back seat, and as you pull up in front of Amelia's cottage, you can see that all the curtains are drawn. No activity visible. What do you want to do?
I'll get out and go to knock on the door.
All right, you knock firmly, and there's no response.
I'll motion to the others to come out. And, Amelia, it's Thomas. We got to talk to you real quick. Are you inside?
You try to sort of like, yelling at like a moderate volume, and there's again no response.
I knock louder and say, Amelia, it's urgent. You let me in last time. We got to talk to you. Sorry.
You slam on it, and by this point you're trying to you're backing up and trying to call up to windows. It might be easy to hear. As you do this, one of the neighbors door opens, and a woman dressed like she's about to go out shopping. She's got a little cart and everything, comes out, and she goes, "Oh God, more damn noise! If I didn't get enough sleep last night." And she begins trundling down and heading out.
Sorry, ma'am, what do you mean? What happened last night?
What are you, detectives?
No, just some friends of Amelia's. We were just worried something might have happened to her.
Well, you tell your friend if she's gonna continue having parties or raves or whatever the hell that was, she can find a new place to live. This is a nice neighborhood. We keep
There was a
quiet
lot of
after
people
night.
around last. A lot of people around last night.
Well, there were lights inside one of her upper story rooms, and there were sounds of, I don't know, yelling, whooping. I don't know. They seem to be having a grand old time. All the same, she isn't here now, so if you'll excuse me.
Where did she go out? Did you see her leave?
I don't know. Yes, I saw her leave. She was headed into the town. I don't know where she is. Look, I keep my nose to myself. I'm not one for gossip, understand? So if you'll excuse me, I need to go. She seems fairly insistent.
She's in a staff cottage as well, right?
No, she has her own home.
We're in town.
Amelia, you're in town. Yeah, she has her family probably pays for it or something.
I'll
run back there. We got to figure out a way to get in here. We got to get in here quick.
No, I don't know if we got to get in. If she's already left, look, that's some good information that there were more people here last night. But if she's left, then she's not in danger, right?
She didn't say there was more people. She said that there was noises inside. Noises and yelling and lights.
But she did also say, It would be good to know that she isn't inside for sure, but if we cannot get in easily and quietly without disrupting the neighbors, then I think we try and track her down in town if that's where...
We have no idea if she's left. She could be hurt up there.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We should try and get inside, but if we can't quietly, we can't be seen breaking into someone's house.
This is also where the cottages are a bit separate and you went in at night. This is a well-lit street with a lot of neighbors around like a little, court or something. It would be pretty hard to get in without making a scene. There's also, any sort of yelling. There's a couple of people looking around. The other idea of trying to track her through town, pretty difficult, but, nothing's impossible if you have a strategy for it.
Is she in an apartment building?
No. It's a small,
okay.
Two-story townhouse.
Okay. Look, let's see if we can try and figure out a way in for the back.
I think there's a better chance she's safe, but maybe Miss Stone isn't.
Oh, okay. Look, I trust you, Professor. If you want to go for Miss Stone, let's go for Miss Stone.
As far as I can tell, Amelia's not in immediate danger. If she's left the house, then she's left the house. But
we don't know if she left the house, though.
One of you can make a psychology check on the woman that was leaving and try and get a read on her. It'd be a bit retroactive, but that's fine. And Tom, if you want,
given that I wasn't talking to her,
that's fine. You get a read on her. Tom, if you wanted to try and sneak in, it'd probably be like a stealth check to even get a chance to look around without someone being like, "Oi, nosy, get out."
Yeah.
Viv, you get the impression that this woman is irritable for lack of sleep and definitely, pretty pissed at whatever Amelia was doing, but you don't get the sense she seemed to have genuinely seen Amelia leave at some point early this morning.
I don't think that one was lying. I think she did think she saw Amelia, which makes me think that I think I might be with Steven on this one, Chicken. I think we should
Okay.
probably go and at least find out whether or not Lucy Stone, if this is the peroxide blonde woman at the restaurant, is also missing.
Okay, well let's go then.
Okay. All right, three of you get back into the car and drive downtown. Logically, she's more likely to be at her work today than at her home, and it's on the way, so you stop via, it's called Hibbs Roadhouse. It's very diner, you know, red vinyl seating and everything, people serving milkshakes and kids posted up on stools, older people having their meals, and dancing between a few of them, you can see a woman with a short peroxide blonde, like, turned up haircut, wearing the waiter's uniform, very slender and like outstandingly beautiful. Like she stands out in this area as, you know, you could see how she drew Lighter's eye. She's moving between them collecting tips, and as the three of you enter, the sort of ding of the bell, she says, sorry, I will be with you in just a moment. I just need to finish up with these people here. She darts away. And do you want a seat and have a meal, or are you just going to try and grab her and dip?
May as well sit down.
Yes, we may as well.
Okay. You find one of the booths, and then she comes over to you. She begins listing off the sort of like the, you know, the meal of the day or whatever, and trying to get your order. Very, you know, polite, practical.
I will order like coffee or something. Just something.
Sure.
simple.
And for the two of you,
Yeah, just the coffee, thanks.
done. Two coffees.
Fine, yeah.
It is
Yeah.
bottomless, so you can get as much as you want.
That's
Great.
very kind of you.
All right, fantastic. I will be right back with that.
Listen, okay.
I will be right back with that then. She heads away. You watch the bustle for a while. A couple of people come and go. It's not super busy, but there's other people around. And there's enough time that she stops at one of the other tables and just talks with them for a little while, just being sociable. She's not in a huge rush, and she has time to be kind of debriefing with folks. She eventually comes back with 3 cups and the, like, you know, the thick pitcher of coffee, which she pours between the three of you, and says, all right, well, and if you need anything else, just give me a yell. Oh, I'm Lucy. I'm sorry. That's... we're supposed to introduce ourselves.
Oh, Lucy, are you... Fine young woman walking in a place like this. I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, I mean, big fish in a small pond, I suppose. It's a little town.
Of course. Thank you, and I'm gonna, like, put a pretty generous tip on the table just as, like, a, you know, initial thing.
She goes, well, no, thank you. I mean, it's just coffee.
Yes, but...
Then she
It's also
catches herself and she
conversation.
says, oh, sorry, unless you want something more. And then she reaches inside her thing and pulls out a second menu and passes it over. He says, it is early, and it's liquor.
I mean, it is always early, but never turn something down. And I'll just, like, have a peruse through it and then be like... I'm assuming they've got very, like, subtle names.
I mean, it's straight up, like, it's a liquor wish list. It's like, you know, shot of this, shot of that, want a brewski, want a vodka soda, I don't know, whatever his 1920s drinks. They're straight up selling it. It's just you kind of need to... They don't do it right when you sit down, only when you ask for it after you sit down. It's pretty blatant.
Is this still technically prohibition?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, lovely. You know, I could really go for an Irish coffee at this time of the morning.
Say no more.
Thank you.
And for the two of you?
Just the regular coffee's fine.
All
That's
right.
fine, yeah.
She heads off to get it. She doesn't seem particularly perturbed in the moment, but I mean, maybe she's just good at putting a face on.
When she goes away, I'm gonna lean back in towards Viv and say, "Are you gonna tell her? Are you?"
Yes.
What are we doing here exactly? Are
We
we
are
trying to get
to
a...
make a young lady feel comfortable enough with a bunch of strangers. When one of us happens to drop the fact that we're from the university, she won't immediately think we're on to something.
Okay.
Well, all right. It sounds like you're taking the lead here, Vivian, so you just tell
Not
us what to do.
necessarily. I'm improvising.
Oh, I'm not very good at that.
I know.
She returns with the she's taken your cup and she returns to it with it. It's now got a shot in it. So she sits it down. She's got no one else to attend to, and she's almost like looking to talk to people. She's just bored at work at the moment. So she's
Yeah,
just
I
saying
think- I
like
think
sort
I-
of, you know, And she's looking out at the thing, and someone like drives past and almost misses a stop sign. And she goes, "Wow, some drivers in this town."
Tell me, I am relatively new to the area, but I'm starting to get a feeling that this place is quite unique.
I could have told from your accent. I mean, you're from somewhere foreign.
Across the pond.
How darling. Yeah, no, I mean, I moved here from New York about,
Oh, really?
feels like a while ago now. I'm pushing a year. Yeah, I mean, you know.
Wow. And have you spent much time, like, what can you tell me about the area?
Oh, God, I mean, there's not a whole lot to do. It's a nice enough little town, but, I mean, sleepy, best defines it from what I've seen. Although, if you know the right places to go, there's a few parties to be had, and I mean, in New York, there's a knockout on every corner, and down here, kind of, you can feel special.
Of course. Do you spend much time? Well, I suppose not spend much time, but do you get a lot of people down from the university? I know that's sort of near in the area.
Oh yeah, tons of professorial types and students looking to skip class. Say, ain't you? And she sort of looks at you, Steven. You might have ducked in here in the past for like a coffee or something. Like she might know you as you went in with a group of other students or something. She says, I mean, aren't you one of the professors? You?
Yeah, Professor Stephen Chase, mathematics and chemistry.
Pleased to meet you, Professor Chase. You don't and she sort of like sits down next to Thomas and slides into the booth, so the four of you now two across from two, and she says, you don't know Professor Leiter, do you?
Yeah, I worked with him a few times, more of an acquaintance than anything. I was very sad to hear of his passing, of course.
His what?
Well, I thought the news had gone around campus, and I thought.
Sorry, he's dead?
Are you all right, dear?
Oh, I'm sure. She sort of like re-pulls the face on. I'm fine. Sorry, I knew him from.
I'm gonna like.
We met before.
I push the coffee that I have over to her, and I think you might need this more than I do right now, based on that face.
She takes it, or she lets it sit, and she goes, I'm fine. Honest. I didn't know. I'm sorry. When did he die?
Well, it was some days ago. I'm really sorry. The news had gone around the university, so I assumed that. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I don't associate with many of his friends. Like I said, I only knew him in passing, although she's visibly lying about that. How did he die?
Well, a heart attack, just stress,
Oh God. Yeah. Listen, I know this is foolish, and I know I've only just met you. But I will attest. We were close. Oh God. Stress. Would I be able to see the body? Just some sort of closure or something.
Listen.
That's not necessarily something that can be organized, only because it revolves around a lot of hoop jumping with the university. And if you were attempting to try and tell us you weren't close, and now you're telling us you are, do you want the university to be aware of that?
It wasn't a huge secret. I know he had other girlfriends. We were just, I don't know. I liked him is all, and I would just like some sort of something to remember him by. And her visage kind of shifts a little bit as she's talking. You can see her, she's thinking, and she's kind of clamming up a little bit as she's going. Go ahead, Stephen.
Well, we'll certainly keep you posted about any services and whatnot.
Right,
I'm sure there'll be a send-off.
I think we can do our best to try and get a viewing of the body, but it may take a few days. Is the only thing.
Sure.
We can work towards that. Listen,
it's fine if it can't be arranged. I'm
sorry to ask. You seem a little more concerned about the fact that it was a heart attack. Are you worried that it might not have been?
Can you make a charm test for me now and just kind of And go ahead and do it with a bonus die. You guys have all been pretty nice and kind of getting on her. Oh.
Oh my god.
Ladies,
All
man,
right.
man's man about the town Vivian is about as charming as you can get.
I reckon that'll just about do it. I think as you say that, she sees something of a confidant in you, and she's being relieved soon anyway. And as another waiter comes in, she's gonna tap out, and she sits back down with you. And this time she will take a slug from the coffee you put in front of her, and she says, he was nervous. Hell, he was paranoid. I mean, slipping deeper and deeper into some sort of. He thought he was being watched. He thought he was being chased. I mean. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Professor Chase, but I mean he had some debts. He was a gambler. I mean, that's why I liked him. He showed a girl a good time. When he was flush, and when he wasn't, it was only a matter of time before he was again. But he was real bad when I last saw him. To be honest, I thought he might have skipped town on me. It's well, it's not a relief that he's dead, obviously, but.
Listen,
Can understand that. Yes, I don't think he would have skipped town without telling you, though.
look,
No.
to be real honest, you're not the only person who's asked us about Professor Leiter in the last couple of days. There seems to be some people who are trying to chase down some of these debts. Listen, if you've been seen real visible near him, you might want to make sure they know for sure that you ain't holding a bunch of cash for him or something. I reckon they're pretty convinced he's got it all stashed away somewhere.
Oh my god. The cash.
Do you have something of his?
No, but I know where he kept his reserves, his money. I mean, he always knew that something like this might happen, and he kept cash locked away, hidden inside his house. If I will go with you, can you help me get it? I mean, I loved him, and he loved me. I know that. I mean, if it gets found by someone else, it's just gonna. I mean, really, it should be mine, and I can make sure it gets somewhere safe. And I can leave town. I'll be out of here. I mean, without Chucky, there's little here for me.
You know that might put you in danger for some bad people.
Look, as far as I'm concerned, at least, I won't speak for the others, but we're not really interested in that money. We don't want it, and if you want to, whatever inheritance is worth, sure, it can go to you. But listen, we just told you that there's some unsavory folks looking for that money, dangerous folks, and I want to stress, these aren't people you want to get on the wrong side of.
Listen, I ain't clueless. I know how to deal with guys like that. I've had my run in time as well. I get that money, I'm gone. I'm not even gonna turn in my, I quit letter. I'll be on a bus. I'll be out of here. They'll never find me where I go next. This is me out. I just need enough money to get going.
I think if you can show us where Leiter stashed some of his more precious things, that seems like a reasonable payment.
Yeah, done. Listen, let me just grab my stuff out back, and I'll meet you around there in just a moment. Finish up your drinks, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
I don't mean to cause any alarm, but we have a car, so perhaps we'll finish our drinks, and you want to come with us? It would be easier than walking.
Sure. Let me just grab my bags.
All right.
Okay. All right. She gets up, and as you finish your drink, she brushes herself down and heads back of house. Her manager or whatever says something to her. It's just cold shoulder, walk past, and completely ignored. You finish your drinks, and as the three of you head out towards your car, you hear a scream.
I was actually gonna suggest we do not leave the diner. I'm not leaving this woman alone until out of our sight, essentially.
Even better, from the back of the house, you hear a scream. Thomas, I presume, vaults,
yes.
you can vault the counter and bust through the door just in time to see Lucy being bundled out the door by one of Oaks, who's dragging her out and into the car. The other one, seeing you, raises a pistol and like points it at you as the engine to the back ignites, roaring into action. And as we're going to leave the session here, we will pick up next time with either a fight or a chase as Lucy is abducted by 2 gangsters.
Excellent.
Hell yeah.
Brilliant.
All right. Rock and roll. You've made some progress. We've got some more leads, and let's find out where it takes us next time. So thank you guys for playing.
Thank
Oh,
you
no.
for running.
Oh no,
Oh, no.
indeed. All right, and thank you everyone for watching. As always, this is our playthrough of Crimson Letters, and we will be back same time next week, and it'll be on YouTube and Twitch, etc. There'll also be an episode of White Bull coming up in just a few days. Yeah. I think that about covers it. So thank you for watching, thank you for playing, thank you for etc. Everything in between. See you next time. Boosh.